Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. My name is Eric, and I'm 43 years old. I've been married to my wife, Olivia, for 10 years. We've faced our share of trials, the most significant being my infertility. Despite this, we've built a life of love and understanding, or so I believed. It's a brisk Tuesday evening when I first notice something odd. Olivia has been acting strange for weeks now, and I can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. She seems distant, distracted, and it's not like her to be so secretive. Tonight, she's sitting at the kitchen table, her eyes fixed on her phone, barely touching her dinner. "Olivia, is everything all right?" I ask, trying to keep my voice casual. She looks up, startled, as if she's forgotten I'm even in the room. "What?" "Oh, yes, everything's fine," she replies, her voice a little too bright. I don't press further, but my mind starts spinning. In our decade together, we've always been open with each other. This shift in her behavior feels like a crack in our foundation. Over the next few days, I start paying closer attention. Olivia's mood swings are becoming more pronounced. One moment she's affectionate, the next she's snapping at me over the smallest things. She's been leaving the house more often, too, with vague explanations about meeting friends or running errands. I decide it's time to have a more direct conversation. "Olivia, we need to talk," I say one evening after dinner. I make sure my tone is calm but firm. She tenses up, placing her fork down. "About what?" "You've been acting differently lately. I'm worried about you. Is there something you're not telling me?" She sighs, rubbing her temples. "Eric, I'm stressed, okay? Work has been overwhelming." "Is that all it is?" I press, searching her eyes for the truth. She nods, but her gaze drops to the floor. "Yes, that's all. I just need some space." Her words do little to ease my concerns. Instead, they amplify my suspicions. I need to know what's really going on. One evening, when Olivia leaves the house for yet another supposed meeting with a friend, I decide to follow her. I wait a few minutes after she exits, then grab my coat and head out. I keep a safe distance, my heart pounding in my chest. She heads downtown, moving with purpose, until she reaches a small cafe. I watch from across the street as she enters and sits at a corner table. My stomach twists when I see a man approach and sit down with her. They talk animatedly, their heads close together. The following day, Olivia is even more distant. She avoids eye contact and spends most of her time in the bedroom. I can't bear the uncertainty any longer. The next time she leaves the house, I follow her again, more determined than ever to uncover the truth. This time, she goes to a different part of town, stopping at a modest brick building. As she enters, I realize it's a hospital. My heart races. I wait outside, watching the entrance like a hawk. After what feels like an eternity, she emerges, clutching a piece of paper. I catch a glimpse of the heading, "Ultrasound Report." I feel like the ground has been ripped out from under me. Olivia is pregnant. My mind races with questions, accusations, and a searing pain. How is this possible? I'm infertile. The pieces start to fall into place, painting a picture I don't want to see. Is she cheating on me? And if so, who is the father? I decide to confront her that night. When she returns home, I'm waiting in the living room. She enters, looking weary, and freezes when she sees me. "Eric, what are you doing up?" she asks cautiously. "I know, Olivia. I know you're pregnant," I say, struggling to keep my voice steady. Her face pales, and she stumbles back, clutching the wall for support. "Eric, Who is he?" I demand, cutting her off. "Who's the father?" She's silent, tears streaming down her face. The silence is deafening, confirming my worst fears. I feel a cold rage building inside me, a mix of betrayal and heartbreak. I need answers, and I need them now. We'll talk about this in the morning, I say, my voice icy. But know this, Olivia. I will find out the truth. And there will be consequences. I leave her standing in the hallway, her sobs echoing in my ears. The betrayal cuts deep, but the need for revenge cuts deeper. This is just the beginning. I will uncover every secret, every lie, and I will make them pay for shattering our lives. The morning light filters through the curtains, casting an eerie calm over the room. I barely slept, my mind consumed by the whirlwind of emotions. Olivia's betrayal feels like a knife in my chest, but I'm determined to get to the bottom of this. Today, I need answers. Olivia is already up, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee cradled in her hands. Her eyes are red and puffy from crying. I steel myself and join her, the air thick with tension. Good morning, I say, my voice strained but controlled. Morning, she whispers, barely meeting my gaze. We need to talk, Olivia. No more hiding. I deserve to know the truth. She nods, taking a shaky breath. You're right. You do. Who is he? I ask, leaning forward, my eyes locked on hers. She hesitates, her lips trembling. It's your brother, Jack. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. My brother. The one person I trusted implicitly. I feel the blood drain from my face as anger and disbelief surge through me. Jack. I repeat, my voice rising. How could you do this to me, Olivia? To us. Tears stream down her face as she struggles to explain. It just happened, Eric. I didn't plan for this. We were both vulnerable, and one thing led to another. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I scoff, slamming my fist on the table. Sorry doesn't cut it, Olivia. You've destroyed everything we built. She breaks down, sobbing uncontrollably. I can't bear to look at her, so I storm out of the house, needing to clear my head. I walk aimlessly for hours, the betrayal gnawing at my insides. Eventually, I find myself outside Jack's apartment. I don't bother knocking, I kick the door open, startling him as he sits on the couch. Eric, what the hell? He exclaims, jumping to his feet. You know exactly why I'm here, I growl, advancing towards him. How could you, Jack? How could you sleep with my wife? He looks guilty, but he doesn't back down. Eric, I didn't mean for this to happen. It just did. I'm sorry. I grab him by the collar, lifting him off the ground. Sorry. That's all you have to say. You betrayed me, your own brother. He struggles to free himself, his eyes pleading. Eric, please. I'm sorry. I know I messed up. But you have to understand, we didn't do this to hurt you. I release him, shoving him back. Understand? How am I supposed to understand this, Jack? You and Olivia have destroyed my life. He rubs his neck, looking miserable. I know, and I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Please, just give us a chance to explain. I shake my head, disgusted. There's nothing to explain. You're dead to me, Jack. Both of you. I turn and leave, slamming the door behind me. The rage and pain boil inside me, but I know I can't let it consume me. I need a plan. I need to make them pay for what they've done. Over the next few days, I start to put my plan into motion. I hire a private investigator, Paul, to dig into Jack's life. I need leverage, something that will completely ruin him. Paul is an old friend, someone I can trust to get the job done discreetly. One afternoon, Paul calls with some news. Eric, I found something. Jack has been embezzling funds from his company. There's enough evidence here to put him away for a long time. A grim satisfaction settles over me. Good work, Paul. Keep digging. I want to know every dirty secret he's hiding. In the meantime, I start to isolate Olivia. I stop talking to her, avoid her at home, and make sure she knows I'm done. She tries to reach out, to explain, but I shut her down every time. Her guilt and despair are palpable, but it's not enough. I want her to feel the same pain she inflicted on me. One evening, as I'm sitting in the living room, my phone rings. It's Paul again. Eric, I found something on Olivia. She's been seeing a therapist, Dr. Melanie Parker. There are notes about her guilt and confusion over the affair. I'm intrigued. Can you get me access to those notes? It's risky, but I can try, Paul replies. Do it, I say firmly. I need to know everything. Days pass, and I continue to gather information. Every detail I uncover feels like another piece of the puzzle falling into place. My anger fuels me, pushing me to keep going, to find the perfect way to ruin their lives. One evening, Olivia comes home late, looking exhausted. She tries to talk to me, but I cut her off. I know about the therapy sessions, I say coldly. She looks shocked, her face paling. Eric, Save it, I snap. You can't hide anything from me anymore. I know everything. She breaks down again, but this time I feel nothing. My heart is cold, my mind focused on one thing, revenge. As the days turn into weeks, I continue to build my case. I collect evidence, plan my moves, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. Olivia and Jack think they've gotten away with their betrayal, but they have no idea what's coming. One morning, I receive a package from Paul. Inside is a folder filled with documents, photos, and notes. Everything I need to bring Jack down is in my hands. I smile, feeling a sense of grim satisfaction. The time has come to set my plan into motion. I call Jack, my voice steady. We need to meet. There's something I need to show you. He sounds wary but agrees. All right. When and where? Tomorrow, at the old warehouse by the docks. Noon. He hesitates but finally agrees. Fine. See you there. I hang up, my heart pounding with anticipation. Tomorrow, I will confront Jack and Olivia, and they will face the consequences of their actions. The wheels are in motion, and there's no turning back now. Their lives are about to be shattered, just as they shattered mine. As I prepare for the confrontation, I feel a sense of cold determination. This is not just about revenge. It's about justice. It's about making sure they understand the gravity of their betrayal. And I won't stop until they're both brought to their knees. Tomorrow, the reckoning begins. The air is heavy with tension as I arrive at the old warehouse by the docks. It's a gray, overcast day, the sky mirroring the storm brewing inside me. I take a deep breath, steadying myself for what's to come. Today, Jack and Olivia will face the consequences of their actions. Jack arrives first, his expression wary. He looks around, clearly uneasy about the location. When he sees me, he tries to force a smile, but it quickly falters. Eric, he says cautiously. What's this about? Let's wait for Olivia, I reply coldly. We stand in silence, the minutes dragging on. Finally, Olivia's car pulls up. She steps out, looking as apprehensive as Jack. She glances between us, her eyes filled with a mixture of guilt and fear. What's going on, Eric? She asks, her voice trembling. I don't respond immediately. Instead, I walk over to a small table set up in the middle of the warehouse. On it, I've placed the folder Paul sent me. I pick it up and turn to face them. I know everything, I say, my voice echoing in the vast space. The affair, the embezzlement, the therapy sessions. I know it all. Jack pales, and Olivia gasps, covering her mouth with her hand. The shock on their faces is almost satisfying. Eric, please, let me explain, Olivia begins, stepping forward. Explain. I snap. Explain how you betrayed me with my own brother. How you destroyed our marriage. Tears stream down her face, but I feel no sympathy. Jack tries to speak, but I cut him off. And you, I say, turning to him. My own brother. How could you do this to me? He looks down, shamefaced. Eric, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. But you have to believe me, I never meant to hurt you. Save your apologies, I say, tossing the folder onto the table. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay for what you did. I open the folder and pull out the evidence of Jack's embezzlement. I have enough here to send you to prison for a long time, Jack. And I will, unless you do exactly as I say. He looks up, panic in his eyes. What do you want? I want you out of my life, I say coldly. Leave town, never contact me or Olivia again. And if you ever come back, I'll make sure you go to jail. Jack's shoulders slump in defeat. He nods slowly, realizing he has no other option. All right. I'll leave. I turn to Olivia, who's sobbing uncontrollably. As for you, Olivia, our marriage is over. I want a divorce. You'll get nothing from me, understand? She nods, tears streaming down her face. I understand. Eric, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't change anything, I say harshly. You made your choices, now live with the consequences. The sound of footsteps interrupts us. I turn to see Paul walking in, his face set in a grim expression. Everything all right here? He asks, looking between us. Yes, I reply. Just making sure they understand the terms. Paul nods. Good. Let's make sure they stick to them. Jack and Olivia leave, their heads hanging low. I watch them go, a sense of finality settling over me. This is the end of our relationship, the end of the betrayal that shattered my life. Paul stays behind, watching me carefully. You did the right thing, Eric. They needed to be held accountable. I nod, but the satisfaction I expected to feel isn't there. Instead, I'm left with a hollow emptiness, a void that revenge couldn't fill. Thanks for your help, Paul, I say quietly. Anytime, he replies. If you need anything else, you know where to find me. I leave the warehouse, the weight of the confrontation heavy on my shoulders. As I drive home, I think about the years I spent with Olivia, the trust one had in Jack. It's all gone now, replaced by a cold, hard reality. When I get home, the silence is deafening. I sit in the living room, staring at the empty space where Olivia's things used to be. It's over, but the pain remains. I wonder if it will ever go away, if I'll ever be able to move on. The days turn into weeks, and I try to rebuild my life. I throw myself into work, trying to drown out the memories. But every night, the emptiness returns, a stark reminder of what I've lost. One evening, there's a knock on the door. I open it to find my old friend, Mark, standing there. He gives me a sympathetic smile. Hey, Eric. I heard what happened. Thought you might want some company. I nod, stepping aside to let him in. We sit in the living room, talking about everything and nothing. For the first time in weeks, I feel a glimmer of hope, a small light in the darkness. Thanks for coming, Mark, I say, genuinely grateful. Anytime, Eric, he replies. We'll get through this. You're not alone. As the night wears on, I realize that maybe, just maybe, I can start to heal. It won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. But with the support of friends like Mark, I know I'll find a way to move forward. The betrayal of Jack and Olivia will always be a scar on my heart, but it doesn't have to define me. I can choose to rise above it, to find a new path, a new purpose. And with time, I hope to find peace. As Mark leaves, I stand by the window, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. A new chapter of my life is beginning, and while the road ahead is uncertain, I'm determined to face it head-on. The shadows of the past will no longer control me. It's time to reclaim my future. The weeks following the confrontation with Jack and Olivia are a blur of emotions. My life, once stable and predictable, has been turned upside down. But slowly, I'm starting to find a new normal. The betrayal still stings, but with the support of friends like Mark, I'm beginning to heal. One Friday evening, there's a knock at my door. I'm surprised to see Paul standing there, looking unusually serious. "Paul, what's going on?" I ask, stepping aside to let him in. He hands me a folder, his expression grim. "Eric, I found something you need to see." I take the folder, feeling a sense of dread. I open it and start reading. As I go through the documents, my heart races. It's more evidence, but this time, it's not just about Jack's embezzlement. It's about Olivia and something far more sinister. "Paul, what is this?" I ask, my voice shaking. "It's a pattern," he replies. "Olivia's been involved in multiple affairs, not just with Jack. And every time, she targets men who are in vulnerable positions, then manipulates them for money or influence." I feel like the ground is falling out from under me. "You mean, she did this intentionally?" Paul nods. "Yes. She's a con artist, Eric. And she's been playing you from the start." The realization hits me like a freight train. All the love, the trust, it was all a lie. Olivia wasn't just unfaithful, she was using me. I feel a surge of anger, but also a determination to stop her. "Do you know where she is now?" I ask. Paul nods. "She's been staying at a hotel downtown. We can confront her there." I grab my coat, my mind set. "Let's go." We arrive at the hotel and find Olivia's room. I knock on the door, my heart pounding. When she opens it, her eyes widen in shock. "Eric, what are you doing here?" she asks, trying to compose herself. "We need to talk," I say, pushing past her into the room. Paul follows, closing the door behind us. Olivia's demeanor changes, her mask slipping. "What's this about?" "I know everything, Olivia," I say, holding up the folder. "All the affairs, the manipulation. You've been playing me from the start." Her face hardens. "So what if I have? What are you going to do about it?" I step closer, my voice cold. "You're going to pay for what you've done. Not just to me, but to everyone you've hurt." She laughs, a harsh, bitter sound. "You think you can stop me? I've been doing this for years, Eric. You're just another mark." Paul steps forward, his expression stern. "Actually, Olivia, we can stop you. We have enough evidence to put you away for a long time." She pales, realizing the gravity of the situation. "You can't do this. You have no idea who you're dealing with." I smile, feeling a sense of justice. "Oh, I think I do. And I'm not afraid anymore." We leave the hotel, Olivia's threats echoing in my ears. But I feel lighter, knowing that the truth is finally out. Paul assures me that the authorities will take it from here. Olivia will face the consequences of her actions, and I can start to rebuild my life. Days turn into weeks, and I begin to move on. Mark and I spend more time together, and I find solace in his friendship. One evening, as we're sitting in my living room, Mark turns to me with a thoughtful expression. "Eric, there's something I've been meaning to tell you," he says, hesitating. "What is it?" I ask, curious. He takes a deep breath. "Remember that night I came over, after everything happened with Olivia and Jack?" "Yeah, of course," I reply. "Well, I've been thinking a lot about it. About us. And I realized. I have feelings for you, Eric." I'm taken aback, but as I look into Mark's eyes, I see sincerity and warmth. Something I haven't felt in a long time. I smile, feeling a spark of hope. "Mark, I think I have feelings for you too," I admit. He smiles, a genuine, happy smile. "Maybe we can start over, together. Build something new." I nod, feeling a sense of peace. "I'd like that." As we sit together, talking about the future, I realize that life can be unpredictable and painful. But it can also bring unexpected joys and new beginnings. Olivia and Jack are a part of my past, but they no longer control my future. With Mark by my side, I'm ready to embrace whatever comes next. The next morning, as I stand by the window, watching the sunrise, I feel a sense of closure. The shadows of the past are finally lifting, and I'm ready to step into the light. The betrayal, the pain, it's all behind me now. And for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful about the future. Mark joins me by the window, and we watch the sunrise together, knowing that no matter what happens, we'll face it together. The journey hasn't been easy, but it's led me to a place of healing and love. And that's something worth fighting for.